Still, the most less than average podcast on the internet. With a host who's the smartest person in the room when he's the only one there. A continuing odyssey into mediocrity. Guaranteed to make you question your life choices and your own sanity. This is Complaints and Observations with Dave LaPointe. Who the hell is Dave LaPointe?
I think he's a bum. I think he's an absolute bum.
It is Thursday, the 10th day of February 2022, and this is not an episode. I'm actually recording this on my phone. Very curious to see how this comes out. My guess is that it'll sound better than with the laptop and the shitty microphones that I typically employ, so I don't know. I have a ton of stuff that I want to talk about, but I don't want to sit here in a hotel in middle of nowhere, Indiana, doing that. So what I think I'm going to do is touch on a couple of things just because I feel like it and I enjoy doing it. But that's it. I don't really want to talk too, sportsy. But there are some sports things that have come up that I may touch on, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, that's all right here, right now on not an episode number, whatever the fuck it is. Hello. It has been a long time. Not really. Okay, so as I said, there's a handful of things I wanted to talk about. One, I want to talk about Joe Rogan again, which honestly I'm fucking tired of it. I wanted to talk about mask mandates again. I'm fucking tired of it. But I'm not gonna. I'm gonna save those for when it's not really timely anymore and nobody cares. Which honestly is the hallmark of this program. Talking about shit that nobody really cares about, and then the stuff that some people may care about, by the time I get to it, they won't care about it anymore. So, yeah. I'm sitting here, as I mentioned, in East Bumfuck, Indiana, for work, down here for work. And so there's a Mexican restaurant that's like right next to the hotel. We go there. And you walk out of there, and all, the clothes that I was wearing are going to smell like a Mexican restaurant for the next week and a half. Even if I wash them, it's almost as it's a mark. Like you're marked. Like, oh, this person went to a Mexican restaurant. But this particular place, there were literally 4 different birthday celebrations going on. So the staff had to come out, sing happy birthday 4 different times. And we were only there for, I don't know, hour and a half or so, maybe a little longer. I'm recording this Wednesday evening. Who has a birthday celebration on a Wednesday night in a Mexican restaurant? Oh, I know. People that live in East Bumfuck, Indiana. No offense. It's a lovely town. It really is a nice little town. It's just, you're in the middle of nowhere. You're an hour south of Chicago. It's a little much, no? At least I think so. I don't know. But it's just the appeal of the birthday celebration at a Mexican restaurant. I don't understand it. I don't know. But that's just me. It's not, some people probably thoroughly enjoy it. Do it on a weekend. Do it on a Friday. Do it on I don't know. What do I know? I don't. That's the thing. I'm being petty. But to be even more petty. So, the way over here, took the flight the other day, And there's a girl, I say girl because of the way that she acted, but I'm going to assume she was probably in her 30s. And seeing as I'm a middle-aged dope, well, not quite middle-aged, but approaching middle-aged, still a dope, I can say girl to someone who's in her 30s. But anyway, she had the entire row to herself, so she's got 3 seats. This idiot is like flopping around, like fucking laying down, and just, it was odd. And she was so like behind me, diagonally to my right. And then, before we even take off, she starts coughing. Like a full-on coughing fit. And not like a constant, I have something stuck in my throat, or, I breathe while I was drinking, and some weird shit. It was probably right up until we actually took off. This girl is coughing. And I'm thinking, what the fuck are you doing? Not really, not trying to muffle it, not trying to be quiet, not trying to keep it down, just coughing. It's like, of all the times to start coughing, and of all the places to cough, like, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, cover it up with your jacket, do something, make an attempt to not be a disgusting person. COVID or not, it's disgusting. Even, obviously pre-COVID, being on a plane, the chances of getting something are maybe elevated. I don't know, it just depends on how close the person with the particular illness is to you. I don't know. But typically the air in an airplane is filtered multiple times, so you're usually not going to get much of anything unless you're sitting next to the person who has something transmittable. But this idiot just kept coughing. And then she starts rolling around trying to sleep, and then she's flipping her fucking jacket around when she gets up to take her jacket off, and she's whacking me with the jacket. When she gets up at the end of the flight to put it back on, she's whacking me with the fucking jacket. Clueless. Absolutely fucking clueless. They should issue a quiz before you get on an airplane. Question 1. Will you have a coughing fit and then make no attempt to cover it up? True or false? Will you flop around your entire row? True or false? If you don't pass the quiz, you don't get to come on the plane. Or they send you away. It's like detention, right? But instead of going to the principal's office, you have to go to the new airline that's the Spirit and Frontier merged, whatever it's going to be. So they've gone from 2 shitty airlines to 1. I don't see the benefit in that. I really don't, but apparently they do, and my guess is they're going to make a shit ton of money. The problem is it's going to probably make other airlines' fees go up. Prices of a flight, I can't do this. I'm talking into a fucking telephone. Jesus Christ. What a stupid line. Yeah, David, talking into a telephone is terrible, isn't it? Oh, God, you're a fucking idiot. It's funny because, I don't really talk on my phone that often. So when I say talking into a telephone, I'm not really that far off. It just fucking sounds stupid, doesn't it? Where was I? Oh, yeah, Spirit and Frontier. So, yeah, the cost of flying is probably going to go up because they're going to mess with their pricing. They'll probably raise their prices so that, Delta, JetBlue, et cetera, they'll be like, oh, well, we can raise our prices now because, the Feng Hua of the sky here is just merged into one Feng Hua. And, Now he can make more money. Huzzah! Yay! I've mentioned on the show before that I will never fly Spirit willingly ever again. And the same now goes for Frontier. I've never had the opportunity. My guess is that it's equally as shitty. I'm not entirely certain, but who knows. Another person on the same flight, though, took their shoes off on the plane. And I'm trying to figure out if it's gross or not. I would imagine that if you take your shoes off, your feet are going to swell just because normally that's what's going to happen with the altitude. It's just your feet are going to swell, so when you try to put your feet back into your shoes, it might be a little bit more difficult. I could be completely wrong with that, by the way, because I am an idiot. But I can't really figure that out. I would imagine it's a bit more comfortable. But, like, I mean, I was wearing fucking, like, snow boots. I couldn't take my boots off, because then I would have to try to lace the fucking things back up. Picture a middle-aged fat guy trying to tie his boots in an airplane seat. Oof. That's high comedy. I like that. I have some other stuff to talk about. Hold on. All right, so here's the somewhat sportsy part of this, not an episode. Tom Brady, of course, has retired. And as I said, I think he's just going to get bored. So, of course, around here, everything he does now is dissected and probably will be dissected for God knows how long to come. But apparently he said something on a podcast the other day like, oh, the door's not closed. Who knows? It's like, dude, quit dancing around because he wants the attention, right? Here's the thing, though. Right now, Tom Brady, just a regular guy. He's just a normal dude sitting on his couch, flipping through fucking Instagram. Maybe, I don't know. I'm saying that. It's entirely hypothetical, but when a successful athlete retires, right, the sort of options that they have are limited. It's not as if he can go sell insurance like he could back in the 70s, right? I mean, look, I suppose if his lifelong dream is to sell life insurance, he could. I'm sure New York Life would happily give him a job. But you're either like, becoming a humanitarian of some kind or going into media. Because basically, you're going to have a general lassitude about pretty much anything else. There it is. Vocab word of the week, lassitude. Check it out. Your options are limited. And here this guy, he comes out with a clothing line that, quite honestly, and I've mentioned this too, is awful. Not sure what his target market is, not sure what he's trying to do. Whoever he hired to design this stuff needs to be fired instantly because, good Lord, it's bland and it's terrible. And that's coming from a fashion icon, tycoon, fashionista, like yours truly. High fashion. So I'm very curious to see what he does, and then how he ends up not being bored. Somebody made a good point in the radio the other day. What happens if he gets like so bored and depressed about not playing football that he turns into a bad husband and a bad father? Not bad, that's not the right word, but less of, I guess, right? It's entirely possible. I don't want to see it happen. I don't wish ill on his wife or his children, so I don't know. I'm curious to see how it goes. Because look, eventually he's going to have to stop. Even if he kept playing, eventually he would have to stop. But I'm almost concerned for the man. I can't even call him a young man because he's older than I. So concerned for him. What's he going to do with his life moving forward? And it's weird because most people, when they retire, they're in their 30s, right? Well, athletes, they retire in their 30s. And you have, a long way to go. This guy waits till he's 44. He has less time to go now, right? No, that's kind of stupid to say, but whatever. So, yeah, I'm very curious to see how that plays out. Really not much of a talking point there, but other than I had the thought of Tom Brady sitting on his couch and flipping through Instagram and basically putting comments on people's stories about him. It's like, okay, Tom, we get it. Yep, all right, people like you. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. Let's move on. And I had a conversation today with a coworker. We were talking about people that when they were younger, so when they were kids, they were excellent athletes as children. And then what happens to them as they age. And the percentage of kids that are like small town dynamite athletes. What percentage of them go on to be at all relevant in not just athletics, but any walk of life? Think about it. How many superstar athletes from your youth, right? From grade school up to high school, made it or did anything within the realm of athletics? Very few, if any. And then how many, just became successful in other areas, and then how many became unemployed drunks? That'd be an interesting poll. I would love to see the percentages of that. Unemployed drunks. I guess if you're successfully an unemployed drunk, then, there's an argument to be made, right? It's a bit of an oxymoron, the successful unemployed drunk. I'm going to write that down. Successful unemployed drunk. SUD, S-U-D. That'd make a good T-shirt, like an inside joke that nobody would participate in. SUD. Oh man, make myself laugh, huh? Yeah, because nobody else is really. I used to guarantee one laugh per episode when I first started this thing, and then I realized, ooh, that's a big ask, David. It's a lot of pressure, because you have to be funny one time in a 1 hour podcast. You're asking a lot. You need all 4 listeners to stick around, so you dangle that carrot, like, ooh, you're going to get a chuckle somewhere in here. But then when you think about it, you try to be funny, it doesn't work. I think the only time I'm ever funny, see, right there. The only time I'm ever funny is completely by accident, especially with this. That's not entirely true either. I like to think I'm very witty. A back and forth banter would be better, but that would require a co-host, which I don't think that's coming anytime soon. So, just like interviews, I would like to have some more interviews, but getting people to agree to come on a show with 4 listeners is tough. So if you're one of my 4 listeners and you want to be on the show, let me know. Love to have you. You can talk about anything you want, really. Doesn't even have to really be interesting. Just be on the show. We can talk. Hey, sup? Sup? Hey, cool. All right. Thanks for coming. All right, bye. I'm sure that, when I have somebody else on the show down the road, Joe Rogan will still be a topic of conversation because one side of the aisle here can't seem to fucking get enough with this guy and talking about him incessantly. It's like, all right, find a new fucking target because it's getting ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous. If you want to start digging around in people's closets, you're going to find a ton of shit that you don't want to know about. So, is he a great guy? No. Is he the horrible monster that people are making him out to be? I don't think so. I think it's I think it's right down the middle. And then again, it depends on who you are. But all right, this was my salient point, and I wrote this one down. Not really, but the thing with Joe Rogan, okay? Let's say he's got 3 million listeners. And, the big complaint is that he's, sending out disinformation, right? Okay, terrific. So he's saying, take the horse medicine, do jumping jacks, fucking do other shit if you have COVID. Fine, whatever. But what you're doing is you're taking those people that listen to his show and you're narrowing it down and saying that these people are stupid. They're not smart enough to realize that, the comedian and his guests are telling you shit that's not accurate, okay? I don't think that's the majority of his listeners. I think it's a very small minority of his listeners that listen to the shit that he has and the people that he has on the show and thinks, oh boy, that's right. And it makes me wonder, okay, let's try this test. Joe Rogan should have fucking, I don't know, one of the flying Walindas or something and say, hey, we're all gonna jump off a bridge and see what happens. See how many fucking listeners show up to jump off a bridge with him. My guess is 0. Maybe 1 or 2. So if that's what you're trying to protect, all right, I think you're barking up an interesting tree. And then to, blame Spotify for this, that, and the other, it's like, all right, please. 1 minute you're complaining about private business not doing enough to protect the public. And then on the other side of the coin, you're blaming business for doing too much to vilify the public or to, I don't even know where I'm going with this. I had too many mezcal old fashions, but you get my point. You probably don't get my point, but still. But anyways, look, this was not an episode. I just wanted to do this because I wanted to try it on the phone, see how it went. Poorly, as always. But listen, next week I'm going to have a couple of voicemails for sure, because old friend Andrew, or new friend Andrew, I should say, I barely know the man, but whatever. In fact, I don't know him at all. But he's my favorite caller. He left me 2 excellent voicemails last week, so that's going to be on next week's episode. I have a bunch of other shit I'm going to talk about. I'm going to get it more into Joe Rogan. I'm going to talk about being anti-attractive people. That'll come up as well. Hopefully I can suss that out into a somewhat coherent argument. I doubt it, but stick around and take a look. Take a look? Fucking idiot. Take a listen. Call the show. 617-657-4736. Call in. Leave a voicemail. Tell me what's on your mind. Anything. Anything at all. Would love to hear from you. Tell your friends. Tell your moms. Go to the Instagram page at ComplaintsPod. Go to the Twitter page at ComplaintsPod. I have a Facebook page, but fuck Facebook. I have a Twitch page. Don't use it. YouTube channel. Don't use it. I have a website, complaintsandobservations.com, where I write a blog every Friday. Probably won't have one this week, but I have like a bunch more, so go and check them out. They're equally as bad as this program. This is the world's worst podcast. Remember that. Hashtag world's worst podcast. Tell your friends, tell your moms. That's it. Take care of yourself, take care of each other. Godspeed. Ta-ta.